What's cracking, folks? So it looked like we got trouble in paradise. Well, I don't know if I call it paradise because it's the concrete jungle. Concrete boys, Lil Yachty and them. And I can't say the trouble just started because, this been brewing for a while. We all knew this news was going to come out eventually. So recently, Lil Yachty has been back in the news. And once again, it's not for the right reasons. So if we all remember a couple weeks back, Lil Yachty was doing some questionable things. I feel like we was all looking at him sideways. But a narrative has been building online and through all the different social medias that Lil Yachty is not a good person at all. So as we all know, Caribou left Concrete Boys. And if we all don't know Caribou, I think she was the only girl in Concrete Boys. I think it's a collective of 5 of them. But yeah, so Caribou left. And arguably, she was probably the most recognizable and popular member in that group. And recently, she apparently went to Red Lobster to go pick up some cheddar bay biscuits. Now, do I blame her for that? Hell nah. Cause them motherfuckers, bro, them biscuits busting for real. But apparently, during that interaction she had with one of the employees of Red Lobster, or fan or customer who was ever there, they asked Caribou, like, what happened? Why you leave Concrete Boys? Now, the initial reason Yachty came out and said she left because they just had creative differences, basically. But Caribou told this fan and said, no, that wasn't the reason. I left because I was being bullied, so on and so forth. So that fan turned around, got on Twitter, explained what happened, showed the picture that she was actually with Caribou, and basically aired out everything that Caribou told her. And the aftermath online going towards Yachty was not pretty at all. Because like I said, his image has not been the best in the fans' eye in these last couple months. So this was all news to Yachty. Him not being on Twitter or IG, according to him, he said he wasn't being online a lot like that. He was logging off everything. And if y'all don't remember, he said that a couple weeks ago after that whole debacle about him speaking on New York fashion happened. He said, y'all cry over everything. I'm going to just get offline for a little bit. So with his hiatus offline, he really can't defend himself, defend his name, and stuff like that. He's not really seeing everything that's going on. He caught wind of this tweet. If I'm not mistaken, DJ Academics reached out to him and was like, bro, do you see what's going on online? People slandering your name, blah, blah, blah. He finally gets back on, see what's going on, and goes on his Twitter and tells people to join his IG live. And in his IG live, I would sit here and explain to you everything that he said, but I'm gonna let Yachty do all the explaining himself.
Bro, stop. Don't go on the internet and act like I'm bullying you, bro. I've been nothing but loving and caring and paid your bills and gave you money and took you around the world. And nobody would even know who the fuck Caribou was if it wasn't for me. What are we talking about, Bree? When you was disrespecting my home security and telling them that they beneath you and that they better shut the fuck up and watch this house because they work for you when they work for me. Same way you talk to people at the label, same way you talk to the podcast, bro. I swear to God, I didn't want to do no podcast, bro. Bro, Mitch came to me like, bro, I need to do something in life. Help me out. I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to give you a platform. I'm going to find someone to sponsor us. And I'm going to give you a platform. We're going to make a podcast. And I'm going to show people how funny you are. I'm going to show people how crazy you are. I'm going to show people like how cool you are. And it's going to give you a platform. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to do no motherfucking podcast, nigga. I'm a motherfucking rapper, nigga. Got millions of dollars. I don't need to talk to other rappers. What the fuck are we talking about? I did the podcast for Mitch. Don't put goddamn $400,000 in Mitch's pocket. And y'all sitting here talking about something. He disrespecting his friend. And I ain't fucking with Mitch, bro. I've been asleep all day. I wake up to this crazy shit. Mitch, how the fuck you didn't go on the internet and tell these folks that we playing, bro? That tweet got goddamn 6 million views on it. Why the fuck you ain't going there telling folks we playing? Man.
So as you can see, Yachty is not happy at all. Everybody's catching strays. Yachty said, forget it. I'm going to just crash out right here. I'm literally helping all y'all out. Saying he wrote raps, giving people podcasts, making no names into household names. And y'all just disrespecting them, putting clothes on their back, jewelry on their neck and their wrist, all that. Do I blame Yachty for crashing out like this? This is what I have to say about this. When it comes to Caribou, I feel like the crash out was completely justified, because when you sit here and you invest that type of money into somebody and you build their likeliness up and basically help them out the gutter, putting clothes on their back, giving them money, allowances, all that, like anything that any aspiring rapper could want, Yachty was giving it to her. And she basically was being ungrateful, according to him, you know, being a nasty person to other people, thinking she bigger than what she really was. But if y'all didn't catch that tidbit, he was also going at Mitch. Mitch has nothing to do with Concrete Boys when it comes to the artistic vision with them. He's not a part of the group or anything, but he does run that A Safe Place podcast. He's the co-host with Lil Yachty. So simultaneously, while that tweet was going viral about the girl explaining why Caribou left, it was another tweet going, well, it was another narrative being pushed about Lil Yachty and Mitch. So it's a recent podcast on their A Safe Place channel, and the guest host was Key Glock. We all know Key Glock, Memphis rapper, real close to Dolph, RP Dolph. But during this podcast, they had a conversation about trying to tell a younger guy, you know, a YN, how they should go about, you know, trying to make an honest living. And basically Yachty was saying that if a younger guy was out here trying to make a living for himself, he had a gun and, you know, that's all he had. If he seen a nice watch, he gonna go take that watch and, you know, try to get his back end from it. And Mitch being, apparently he was out in the streets, stuff like that back in the day. So, he has a little bit of knowledge and knows the thought process of what a lot of these guys is going through. And he was basically just coming from the side of, hey, you know, it's a better way to get through to this, get some money. You feel me? Yachty like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. You know, you can do this, that, and the third. Like, ain't nobody trying to hear that. They trying to make a quick buck. Honestly, me personally, I feel like Yachty was taking that approach in that conversation because Key Glock was sitting there. We all know Key Glock is like I said, a Memphis native. He had run-ins with the law. He's at one point a YN. So I feel like he was trying to appeal to Key Glock in that sense. But in return, everybody that was watching it was looking at Yachty like, bro, why are you even talking like that, bro? You're not even with that. So how can you even come and try to explain what somebody's mindset is like, what their thought process is? Because you never had that thought process because you never lived that lifestyle. So everybody felt like it was fake, and he was basically painting Mitch out to be, I wouldn't say a deadbeat, but I know that's not the right word. But he was basically calling the dude lazy. He told him, Yachty told Mitch that if he told him to get a job back in the day, he knew he wouldn't go get a job. So he don't even understand why he's sitting up here saying that, trying to take the high road. So while those clips were circulating online and Yachty was being slandered, stuff like that, he asked Mitch in private, he was like, Mitch, why you ain't out here defending me? Like, you knew it wasn't like that. And Mitch's response was, bro, it's Twitter, you know. I can't really control what people say. You know, it's the internet. You know how people get, which is true. I don't expect Mitch to sit here and quote tweet and tweet at thousands of people and be like, nah, Yachty ain't mean it like that. In Yachty's defense, if it really wasn't like that and Mitch didn't feel none type of way, I feel like Mitch could have just sent out a tweet and was like, hey guys, it really wasn't like that. I think he ended up doing that, but just let the people know, like, it really wasn't like that. All this conversation was warranted, and, you know, I was able to defend myself. But Yachty didn't see it like that. He was still upset. He was like, bro, you know you wrong, stuff like that. So Yachty came out again, well, in that live that I just showed you guys, and basically said that that whole podcast thing is done. And in the midst of all that, someone else is involved. So if you aren't a frequent watcher of the Safe Place podcast, a person comes up and they refer to her as cousin. Y'all, this is a lot. Like, it is crazy on how much stuff just unraveled in the last like 2 to 3 days when it comes to Lil Yachty and Concrete Boys and Caribou and Mitch, and it's like a whole saga. Like, it's just stuff just keep getting added daily. So my bad if I'm over here just rambling on, but just stick with me though. So the cousin gets on Twitter, goes on Twitter Spaces, and rips Yachty a whole new one. To wrap up what she said, she was basically saying that Yachty, the way he was speaking to Mitch, was so wrong, acting like Mitch didn't have any helping hand in Yachty's growth to where he is now. So apparently Mitch was the one that put Lil Yachty on that Michigan wave. We all know that Michigan wave was brewing back late 2019, early 2020, and it pushed Lil Yachty, to roll out to Michigan. He was hanging out with Rio and all those guys in Flint and Detroit as well, out there making music with them. And that Michigan Boat Boy tape came about. The cousin was saying that none of that would have happened if Mitch never put Yachty on to that Michigan wave, which to me and a lot of other people was a resurgence of Lil Yachty. I know some people say Poland or that alternative album that he released was his resurgence, but to me, that's when I tuned back in Yachty, and I feel like that's when a lot of other people tuned back into Yachty. Because like she said, wasn't nobody listening to Lil Bo 3. That shit was garbage. So yeah, she was coming to the defense of Mitch, and again, people was catching wind of that. But the only reason she came into play is because podcast prior on that Safe Place podcast, which don't sound like it's a safe place anymore, to be honest with you. But Mitch was dating this girl some years back, and he told the story that basically she asked him who his uncle was or aunt or somebody, and they found out that they were family members. And when I say family, they are cousins. But that's not even the surprising part. This is where it gets surprising. So, of course, they were dating, and they were, doing couple things, having, So, after they aired this out on the podcast, after Yachty aired this out on the podcast, he made a joke and was like, y'all was still doing the after y'all found out y'all was cousins. I didn't know this podcast. I didn't know that clip or that podcast or anything like that was out there until here recently. So that kind of blew my mind, which is crazy. And Mitch then turned around and told Yachty, like, bro, like, I told you that in confidence. I told you that in private, and that was something between us. Like, why would you come out here and tell that to the world, basically? Which was another questionable move by Yachty. Like I said, Yachty been making a lot of questionable moves, but he's his own person. He made it to where he was by doing what he does. So who am I to sit here and say what he should and should be doing? So between this situation and the Caribou situation, Lil Yachty is fighting for his life right now. Is the crash out justified? And in Yachty eyes, it may be, because like I said, this dude used all the resources he has to put his friends in place to make money just like he is. Because at the end of the day, they need Yachty. Yachty doesn't need them. Apparently, Yachty's out here writing for multiple artists, between 5 to 8 people, popping people at that, writing raps for them. And we all know he's been working with Drake. At least his last 3 projects, we know Yachty had a hand in some of the writing processes on those. So Yachty, he's doing well for himself. Like, he doesn't need to be doing a podcast or helping other people try to build up their rap career. And according to Yachty, Caribou is not even a rapper. She doesn't write her own stuff, and she's really not, like, she wasn't looking to be a rapper. And she even said that herself. She's like, I don't want to be a rapper. She wants to get into acting. Do I feel like I said, I feel like the crash out with Caribou was justified. Yachty said she's like 900K in a hole. Well, he's 900K in a hole, and she's talking about she needs to be owed money. But when it comes to Mitch, I think that Yachty kind of went a little over. I think the whole situation with Caribou just kind of boiled everything over. So Mitch kind of caught the rat, the tail end of everything, but he was just in the crosshairs. So, and also, even the Concrete members, like DC2 Trill and the other guys, they're, catching strays as well, because when you're a rapper, there's like a couple things that you need to be a successful rapper. You need to have to be a successful rapper. And to me, you need to be able to write your own stuff. Like, when it comes to rap music, that authenticity, them words coming from you means everything, which is why people's looking at Drake sideways. Like, bro, you just a good performer of other people's words. Like, they was looking at them different. And another thing is your image. And if people find out that you basically got another man buying your clothes and jewelry and so forth and so on, they kind of look at you like, you're not even a man. The man is really the guy that's buying you all this stuff to get you popping. So I kind of feel like Yachty tarnished that Concrete Boys image as well while going off on Caribou. But with all that being said, though, it's just like, where does Yachty go from now? Because this isn't the first group that he had where, people turned on him. He completely killed Caribou stock. So any other label that was going to look at her and be like, come over here. And I'm pretty sure Yachty has the rights to her likeliness. So if she would have got signed somewhere else, let's just say like Interscope or something, they would have had to cut Yachty a check. But since Yachty went online and said all this stuff, like, she going to need a writer, she going to need a stylist, she going to need all this, that deal that she was going to get is going to be cut now because they know she needs all this stuff to be a poppin' rapper. So with all this stuff being said, like, do y'all feel like the crash out for Yachty was justified, or was Yachty just tripping? Like, was he just in his feelings? He should have just let everything play out the way it was going to play out. Or do you think it was good that he came out here and defended his name? But I appreciate y'all tuning in. But until next time, we out.